Summer is finally here, which can only mean one thing. It's time to celebrate the Sega Master System. That's right, we're quickly approaching the 35th anniversary of Sega's 8-bit console coming to America. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to party! But before we can start celebrating, we first need to acknowledge that, just like in the 1980s, our Master System coverage has been completely overshadowed by the Nintendo Entertainment System. In fact, we only looked at 2 of the system's games in 2020, Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi. As we kick off the Summer of Sega, I wanted to prove that the Master System is more than just ninja games. This was a console that also had a lot of great science fiction games, including the forgotten classic Psychic World. With a great cover and cool cinemas, this side-scrolling action game has one of the system's best endings. Don't believe me? Well, turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the story and ending for Psychic World on the Sega Master System and Game Gear. This is Game Over, the early years. When Psychic World was first released in 1991, things were already looking bad for the Master System. Sega had already pulled out of Japan, and it would only be a matter of months before the same thing happened in America. In fact, the game came out so late that it skipped the United States entirely and only launched in parts of Europe, Australia, and South America. That's a shame, because Psychic World has a surprisingly interesting setup that comes with a cool 8-bit cinema. Instead of telling you about it, let's just watch the 2-minute opening and get a taste of what's in store for us. As you can tell, Psychic World has it all. Science, explosions, ESP, twin sisters, otherworldly monsters, and silent consonants. And that's just in the first 2 minutes. All that sets up a pretty straightforward side-scrolling action game where Lucia uses her newly obtained ESP powers to cosplay as Mega Man. Her first mission is to basically just run after the monster. I mean, what else is she gonna do? What we, the player, quickly learns is that Dr. Navik's research lab is located right next to an active volcano. And if that wasn't enough, a giant lion with 2 serpent heads is guarding it. Oh, hey, it's the monster from the cover. Do you remember how I just said that the lab was located next to an active volcano? Well, Lucia decides to descend deeper into the caves in order to save her twin sister. This leads to a fight with a big, fat Cyclops, which takes our hero to the ice field, which is filled with ice. I mean, it's an ice level. You know what to expect. Or do you? Because there's literally an ice dragon blocking the exit. It seems that the dragon was doing an exceptionally good job guarding the path, because our next stop is the ruins, which are still, ruined. Honestly, it's a little drab. Lots of gray bricks. But you know what? It does have a big robot at the end, and that's something, right? Thankfully, the robot seems to know where the fortress is. Apparently, that's where the monster took Cecile, which is news to both Lucia and us, the audience. There's kind of a lot going on in the stage, including lasers, hairy monsters, this aggressive coat hanger thing, that one mech from Metal Storm, and wait, did we just slip into Valis? Is that Yuko? Thankfully, all this leads to Cecile, but wait a second, something's wrong. She's not talking, it's just stuck there. The good news is that Lucia knows what to do, so she destroys the machine keeping the sisters captive, and the two finally reunite. Here's how that goes. Oh no! Dr. Light is actually Dr. Wily! Oh, Navik was secretly an evil alien and using the twins for nefarious reasons. Man, and he seemed so trustworthy at the beginning. Damn him! Well, alright, once you get over the shock of Navik turning heel, we settle in for what is a unique and actually kind of exhilarating boss fight. The two characters are flying through the air like one of those big-budget comic book movies. Only, instead of having $200 million to work with, this is a side-scrolling 8-bit game with so-so production values. Eventually, Lucia kicks the evil Dr. Navik enough times and sends him crashing to the ground. After dealing with robots, dragons, and worst of all, betrayal, this is what happens next. While North American gamers didn't get a chance to play this on the Master System, there was a Game Gear port that launched with the handheld in 1991. It's a solid enough port and tells the same story and has a lot of the same levels, even if they're not laid out the exact same way. What's interesting about this version is how they handle the ending. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happens after you finally defeat the evil alien Navik and rescue Cecile. So it's probably worth mentioning that both the Game Gear and Master System ports were based on an MSX game that was first released in 1988. Of all the versions, this one clearly has the best looking ending. The twin sisters look great in this art style, and the music is so much better than what we got on those Sega systems. The only downside, of course, is that it's in Japanese. But hey, I have to imagine that the dialogue is probably pretty similar to what we saw in the other two ports. Look, no matter which ending you prefer, I like what this game tries to do. The story is simple and that twist comes out of nowhere, but all three versions do a good job of milking the moment and making us care for these paper-thin characters. For what amounts to a damsel in distress story, the developers put a lot more effort than needed into developing the story and creating a cool narrative. This is one of those situations where the cinemas and the ending are substantially better than the actual game. But you know what? That's okay, because when it comes to a game like Psychic World, it's really good enough to just be remembered for something. Anything. Damn you, Navik! Hey, thanks for watching us break down Psychic World on the Master System. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes of Game Over almost every week. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite Master System game? Do you have much experience with the system? If not, are you open to celebrating the 35th anniversary with us this summer? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with a look at how Defunct Games spoiled a whole bunch of upcoming games. We're also going to be looking at some of the changes that we've made to Game Over and whether or not they've been effective. While you wait for that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.